Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord, Nelson, that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know who it is. It's the big guy with the big show, the Lord. Nelson, that is. You always got to pause for that effect. Nelson, that is, on the podcast Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS Network. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some great people here. But before I do my thing, I got to read a little something about them. You know, I go out there and I listen to the music and I enjoy it and I kind of vibe and I kind of get my questions ready. So let me read this off. If these young men don't mind me bigging them up for a second. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, my next amazing guests are true West Coast warriors, true metal heads. Their music and image screams metal. And when they hit the stage, they are prepared to perform an energetic set of head-banging metal music. With hard-hitting drums, bold bass, and razor-sharp riffs, they lay an amazing sound down that calls and invites their heavy and melodic vocals to the party. Yes, the music does that. So now, without further ado, I welcome to the Live and Loud with the Lord podcast, Deep Within.
Yeah. Up LA. What's up, guys?
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for having us, Lord Nelson.
Hey, no, man. Thank you guys, man. I'm excited about it. I'm honored once again, no doubt. And let's get into it, man. So first of all, why don't you guys introduce yourself? I was going to do it, but I'd rather you guys do it.
Go ahead. We'll start down here.
I'm Cody. I'm the drummer.
Yeah.
Jason, bass.
Yeah.
I'm Matt, vocals.
I'm Joe, guitar.
Sean, guitar.
All right.
And together we are Deep Within.
Hi, baby.
Yeah.
These guys might have had some training, man. That was really good, right? I like it.
We've had a little practice.
Yes, indeed, man. Awesome. So, first two questions I ask everybody. First question is, where are you guys from?
Let's start with Cody again.
Individually or as a band?
Hey, well, listen, if you're all from different places, please tell me where you're from. Exactly. Yes, indeed.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Cody.
I live up here in Phelan, up here in the high desert, but I'm actually originally from Colorado.
Okay.
I'm from Burbank, but currently live up in the high desert San Bernardino area.
Burbank.
I am a bastard child of the United States, mostly Midwest, but now I live in the Los Angeles area.
Okay, got you.
And I'm originally from Riverside, but up here in the high desert as well.
All right.
I'm from Ontario. I've lived up here all my life, it seems like.
Ontario. So you guys, what is the high desert area? What is that? Explain that to me.
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, it's like San Bernardino County,
okay.
San Bernardino Mountain area.
Okay.
Apple Valley, Victorville, Hesperia, Barstow.
Bakersfield River is high desert. Right?
Yeah.
Most people have never heard of Phelan.
So I mean,
it's kind of
Southern California.
It's a Southern California, but it's just northeast of LA. So it's over the San Gabriels, and then you come into the high deserts.
It's about 50 miles from downtown LA.
From LA, yeah.
Yeah, just when you guys said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
He said cleaner air.
Yeah.
It's just that when you said desert, my mind is going elsewhere. So
it is desert. It's just a lot of Joshua trees. It's a lot of sand, a lot of dirt, but it's got its own charm up here. It's beautiful in its own right.
A lot of people consider Las Vegas high desert too, like part of the high.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's that kind of environment.
Yeah.
No doubt. So, the second question is, what is the best thing about being from there? You guys can talk about where you're from, or you can talk about the high desert area, whichever one you want to.
Yeah, we can talk about high all the guys are from the high desert.
Okay.
And, I come up here a lot and have really fallen in love with it. But Joe, he can give you a rundown of what he loves about it.
Talk to me, Joe.
It's just wide open spaces out here. You know, you come up from the Inland Empire, you know, San Bernardino, you know, from Riverside, all these places. You come up to the high desert, and it's just wide open spaces up here. You know, nice, clean air. People are real friendly up here, you know, and it's like a place, you know, a lot of people come up here to retire and stuff. You know, It's just kickback. A lot of movie stars live out here. You know, Cuba Gooding Jr., he has a place out here.
Right.
You know, it's a place to get away, kind of, you know. But it's still got its own charms and its own scene and all that kind of good stuff up here, you know?
Even the dude from Hollywood and Beds up here.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great place.
You could turn your guitars really loud and the cops won't.
Yeah.
It's a little, let's just say, it is a little freer, seems to be a little freer personality up here, if that makes sense, versus the restrictive nature of the city. Because, like, I live in LA, and I love coming up here. One of my favorite parts about it is not only just the kind of the more low key nature of it, but also you're close to everything. Like, I mean, heck, you can be in downtown LA in a couple hours if you want to be, or over to the coast. But up here, it's a little more laid back, a little freer spirited. And the environment up here is just crystal clean. You know, it's like the air is very clear. And you have those wonderful, cool evenings and warm days. So it's a lovely place to be.
Oh, got you, man. Yeah, I was going to ask that because it seems like you're close enough to LA, but then, you know, just far enough to get away from all the madness and stuff, man. So that's love.
Like I just commuted up here we have a rehearsal space literally out in the middle of the desert here.
Right.
And I just commuted up, you know, straight from LA in an hour and a half. And you know, and here we are with you. So yeah, it's a great place to be.
That's the best part about being up here, though, is you're literally an hour and a half to 2 hours away from anything you want.
Anything
the mountains.
Vegas is just right over the hill there. So
well, you guys are living a life. Then that means, you know, for shows and everything, you guys are in a great place.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's a perfect hub. You know, it's a perfect base of operations for us.
Yes.
Oh, awesome, no doubt. So. Many say that California birthed metal music. So in your opinion, what is it about California that has given the world some of the biggest metal bands?
Wow. Go for it, Jim.
I would say like we were just talking about, that open spirit. You know, a lot of metal bands came out from San Francisco area up there, you know, thrash metal bands like Metallica and Exodus and all these kind of bands. And they were, you know, like free spirited type of, you know, because they had the hippies out that way.
Right.
You know, same thing in Southern California. We got the free spirited kind of, you know, Venice Beach and whatnot. So we're laid back, and that's where, you know, you're allowed to expand and grow. You know what I mean? It's just, it gives you, you know, a chance to clear your head when you're out. You know what I mean? But then you get into the studio, you get into the rehearsal space, you just hit it hard. You know what I mean?
Jason, what do you think?
Well, it helps, you know, the 80s, the Sunset Strip, that shit put metal on the map too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Downtown LA, the Hollywood scene, that was where it was at, you know, from, you know, early 80s to the, you know, mid 90s. So everybody came out, every band that was around the country wanted to come to LA because that's where the scene is.
Yeah.
When we still had the, you know, Capitol Records open and all that stuff. It just has that aura about it.
Yeah.
And also, I think from a metal perspective, I think California is kind of it's a dynamic area of emotion. Like there's kind of the extremes on both ends of from everything from political dynamic to personal lives, all that kind of stuff. And I think metal music is one of the most honest forms of music. It's raw, it's emotional. And it allows people to tap into a part of themselves that they may not be able to express at the office, let's say, or, you know, when you go to a live metal show, especially, or you're rocking out in your car, metal music allows you to explore the inner depths of your emotions in a way that other music really doesn't do for you. Right. And it's got a little bit of danger to it. And people like to kind of tap into those areas of their lives that they're maybe not able to express openly on a regular basis. Man. And I think California is kind of a hub for that kind of, you know, emotional diversity.
Right. You can release your inhibitions, it seems like.
Exactly.
Free.
Yeah.
A little bit more free indeed. I feel you on that one. That was a good response, man. I like that.
Well
So 2014, Deep Within is formed, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay. And like most bands, has gone through a few lineup changes. So how excited are you about this starting five right here in 2023?
Oh, we're gonna be on fire, baby. I'm telling you. Once we get on that tour, ooh, it's gonna go off. It's gonna go off.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work to, bands, anybody that thinks being in a band is, let's just say, I mean, it's glorified a little bit. I mean, it is an awesome experience. It's a life-changing experience, but it takes a lot of work.
Yes.
And when you are able to come across like a group of five guys like this, that over the course of time, that, fate has brought us together and our talents have brought us together with a common purpose. And so what happens a lot of times, you get into bands and there's one or two guys that maybe want to shoot for the stars. But, a lot of guys, they just, they like playing the bars or they just want to have a good time. Not to say that, we don't have a good time, but it's rare to find a group of guys committed, talented, with the drive to never give up until they achieve the dream. And so I think this is the dream team for Deep Within.
Love it.
Like, I don't know if you're aware, but we just signed with Distilled Entertainment. Patrick is our new manager at Distilled. And that was just on the 14th of this month. And we've been hitting the ground hard since then, even with a lot of great things coming up. But as far as this lineup goes, we are finally, I feel like I'm finally living the dream. Like I've been in a lot of bands, but this one, there's something extra special.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. And you really know it. Just like you say, dealing with the other individuals, because every band that I've talked to, they've gone through so many changes with different individuals. And then, just like you say, some people just, as my one guy said, they just want to be local. They just want to do what that is right there. And they don't want to, because you said it, it takes a lot of work, commitment, dedication to do what you guys are doing, what we have done. I mean, it really has. And so, once again, hey, I applaud you guys, man. You guys have
Thank you.
You do have something special, man. We can hear it, no doubt. And so,
and you can relate with your experiences. You know how difficult it is. When you want to go pro, I mean, you better be ready.
No doubt. You got to be prepared, most definitely. So, were you playing the same kind of music back then as you are now? And if not, how has the music changed and changed you?
We'll let Joe and Sean talk about that.
Okay.
Well, we started out in 2014, and we started out playing covers, for like a couple years, and then we added in originals. But it was always hardcore, you know what I mean? It was always Metallica, and you know what I mean? The hard covers, we did a cover of
Pantera.
It's
Bigger Death Punch.
That's right. Okay. So then we incorporated original songs in there, and we only had one or two at the time.
Right.
But as like you said, we jammed with the years. We changed lineups and changed all this stuff. And now when we got back to this, when we got Matt in 2020 and we started doing it, we were like, no, let's do all originals. Let's do this thing for real. Let's get the studio. Let's hit it. Let's do this.
So we were born again in 2020.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Love it.
Baptized in metal.
So if you met a person who had never heard you before and you had to sell Deep Within to them without music, what would you say to them?
So if it was to relate to kind of the contemporary music scene, I would describe us from a sound perspective as Lamb of God meets Slipknot with a hell of a lot of Deep Within. So, we've got, it's a very, in my opinion, like I listen to a lot of music and I'm trying not to be biased. But in my opinion, our sound is something very unique simply because of the eclectic nature of the textures.
Got you.
The music is very high energy. It's extremely well organized. Joe does the composing, most of the music, and then we get together and we formulated stuff together. But then I do the writing. But there's elements of a Lamb of God. There's elements like one guy. he put a comment. He's like, "Man, this is like Slipknot with an Axl Rose." Okay, so very kind of an eclectic nature. But I'd say, when people say, "What's Deep Within like?" I'm like, well, if you've listened to Lamb of God and Slipknot, take those two, combine them together with a lot of Deep Within, because it's our own sound. We're not trying to sound like anybody.
No.
And the thing I loved about this band, I auditioned for 4 bands when I moved to LA.
Okay.
And they were all kind of looking for clone singers. They either lost a singer, they wanted somebody that could cover the stuff that they had done before. So I was kind of turned off by that. Then I drove up to the high desert, like, you want to drive all the way up here to audition for the band? And I'm like, hell yeah. So I came up, and there was immediately something different. And the thing I loved about it is the experimental nature. They were open to anything. They're not putting restrictions on, we have to sound more like, Metallica, or, take the lyrics and maybe try to sing them and sound more like this guy. It was like, take the fucking gloves off, pardon my French, and let's go for it. You know what I mean? Let's just experiment and find our sound. Because it's easy to cover songs. It's difficult. No band out there that's successful and still going today tried to copy somebody else. They all had they had inspiration, but they had their own unique individual sound. And some of them, when they were first coming up, people didn't like it, but they stuck to it because it was something unique. And that's what I believe we have.
Yeah, I asked that question because I believe you guys are different. I believe you guys do have a different sound. I mean, it's still what it is, but it's different. It really is. So
live show is pretty fun too.
Yeah.
Our live shows.
Yes, you guys.
Yeah, we're a live band. I hope sometime you'll be able to see us live.
See you live. I would love to, man. Just see you guys out there. You guys are at it and energetic and handling your business.
When we play.
Say that again, sorry.
Well, the greatest thing about it is I was actually a fan before I was the drummer.
That's right. Yeah.
I was actually a really big fan.
Cody's the new guy.
Like a really big fan because they had something different. And I'm a fan. I've told them multiple times. I personally love Avatar, the band Avatar. And there aren't too many people who even know who Avatar is.
Right.
they had a certain thing about them that sounded kind of like that in a way, with like he just said, Deep Within's own thing. This is very, very unique. And I came to almost every single show from the moment I heard them on forward. And then I got the call to try out for them. And here I am today. Yeah. Basically living the dream with a band that I was a fan of.
Cody's basically only been in the band for a few months.
Okay.
He hit the ground running. When we called him in, we needed a drummer. And I remember him coming to shows and being up there recording us and doing all the yeah. And so I was like, and he had played in a band that we had done a show with locally.
Okay.
And I was like, man, we need somebody like this. We have got, if we ever have the opportunity to get a drummer like that, we need to dive in. And so when the opportunity came, as fate would have it, we were looking for a drummer. Cody became available. We tapped into him. We had a couple of rehearsals together just to kind of feel the energy out. And then he just blew us away. Awesome. And it's immediate. I'm sure you're aware, Lord Nelson, of how, when you bring one person in with that fresh energy, it completely change the dynamic of the band.
Yes.
And when Jason came in too with his bass style, it was also another turn of events that just brought the band up that next level. Yeah. So like we were talking about before, the dream team, I think, has been arranged. And it's like, take off the frickin' gloves because here we come.
I love it because, yes, every time you bring in that new energy, it's going to be something different. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same because everybody doesn't play.
For better or worse. It's like marriage. For better or worse, right?
Put a ring on it.
Yes, indeed.
You got enough of them for all.
Awesome. Yes, and listen, all the rings and stuff, seeing them in the videos and stuff, I was just like, man, that's why I'm telling you, man, you guys definitely have that look also, which leads into my next question. So if you were to put a percentage on it out of 100, how important is your image compared to the other important elements of Deep Within, as in, stage show or, your merch or whatever like that? How important is your image? What percentage is important of your image?
personally, as the drummer, I'm just going to say 100%, because that's one of the things that drew me into this band was the stage presence, and everything that they did on stage was just completely different from any other band that I've seen, even professional bands.
Right.
They just don't put on a great show, and I was a little disappointed. And then I went and saw them. I'm like, I'd rather go see Deep Within than, you know, some of the bands I've been following for years.
Right.
I think we'll let all the guys answer if you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. No, definitely. Hey, we got nothing but time, please.
This is how we feel about our image.
I think,
and how important that is in the dynamic of what we do.
well, I think this speaks for itself. I mean, you know what I mean? We don't have a show today, but if we're representing Deep Within, this is how we are.
We are represented.
It don't matter if we're playing in front of 5 people or 5,000 people.
Right.
100%.
That's right.
I think we know how Sean feels.
One person, they're going to get it up.
Awesome.
And Joe, how do you?
Well, music's always first and foremost for me, being the composer and doing that kind of stuff. And I'm a metalhead, like you said, at heart. But obviously, yes, I mean, 100%. You got to get out there. I want people to mosh when they come to the show. I want them to mosh. I want them to have a good time. I want them to, just have a drink and, forget the week that they just had. You want you to get in there and get in the pit and have a good time. Yeah. That's what I want. And if I look like this doing it, then hell yeah, let's keep going. That's what I'm saying.
Because
you get a new tooth knocked out. Be there for us.
The thing about it is,
Sean's a wild dude.
Yeah. So the way I think about it is that there are a lot of great bands, but there aren't a lot of great bands that put on a great show anymore, and look at some of the most profitable tours that are out there right now. And it's guys that were doing this stuff, generations ago that are still going. But a lot of that element, I think, is not just because their music is well known, but it's because they were showmen back then. I mean, look at Kiss, look at Guns N' Roses, look at the dynamic of their shows. And I think there's that little element is kind of missing in a lot of bands today. So for us, people can say what they want, but the responses that we get when we show up to a club and there's 5 bands, most of the time, 4 bands, you can't tell whether they're guys sitting at the bar, they're sitting out at the tables, they get up there like they rolled out of bed to do a show. Right. When Deep Within walks into the fucking room, it's like, oh shit, step aside because this is a real fucking band.
Yes, indeed.
And
yes, indeed.
Like Joe said, the music is number one, but we're there on the music. So we're always working to make it the best that we can possibly deliver. But when you have to have the talent, let's just take that out of it. Okay. Then it comes to how are you going to be remembered? Are you going to be remembered as a band that just got up there and did a great show? Or are you going to be a band that does a performance?
Indeed.
And people can call it gimmicky, they do whatever they want, but you don't go to a film, okay? You don't want to go to a film and come out bored. You don't want to go to a stage show on Broadway and see the people that you just saw while you were shopping at Walmart or wherever, the mall. You want to see something that takes you outside of the realm of reality. And so we are the characters, the alter egos that feed that animal-like instinct in people to want to go someplace that maybe is a little bit dangerous, but is exciting, fun, and high energy. And I think that's what we're trying to deliver, and I think we're having an impact.
Well, let's say that you're not trying to deliver that. You are delivering that. You're doing that. I do my best to take that try out of there and just say we're going to do it. That Star Wars shit.
Well,
you
Lord
do or
Nelson,
do not.
As your name states, we're just trying to be humble.
or you would just be humble.
Take a try out of it.
They don't try. So just try. That's right. You do it.
Just come hang out with us one night. You'll see how it is.
And listen, and I want to say to you guys the thing that I love. And you said that so eloquently. I love that. Is that it's about entertaining. When people spend their money to come see you, they want to be entertained. And you guys are bringing something.
There and do nothing. You gotta get busy.
Right. As you stated, once again, it's like, hey, we're out here to take them away from their problems that they may have. They come in there and they see you guys, and it's just like, yes, look at him. Look at how they're playing, but look how they're dressed. It just takes them away. And that's what's great about it, man. And listen, I understand it. There's been times that I've wanted to do that, but but I hear you clearly, and I think it's a beautiful thing, man. No doubt. I think you guys are right there.
It's a little bit of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And people need a little magic in their lives, We got a lot of shit that's going on in the country and the world, for that matter. And people, I think it's time. And I think people are starving for that little bit of magic in their lives, and we can bring it to them hard and heavy.
Yeah,
right, indeed, man. Just where they can release themselves and free themselves and just have a good time for a few hours or whatever like that, man. That helps out, but that can take you so much further down in your life, man. You never know whose life you're changing, man, just by those moments, man. So great, man, unbelievable, man. I really
music is the universal language. It's
universal, baby.
There's no judgment when people are at the shows. We're all a unit. We're a family. It's the deep within family. That's how we like to think about it. And it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter social, economic. None of that stuff matters. It's just about coming together as humanity and enjoying the music and enjoying the show and the performance and the energy that can bring you. And then you can take that out, and if it inspires just a couple of people, that's why we're here. And to bring some freaking joy into the world, and yes, it's high energy and it's fucking metal, but we want to try to bring people some happiness and some joy. And like I said, that little bit of magic that can brighten their week.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I'm in 100% agreement with you, man. I feel that, and I feel you guys' passion for it, and it shows when you guys get on stage, with the music also. I ask that because some people are like, they're really concerned about the music or they're concerned, but I know that image, especially today, just like you say, you went back to those guys back then, they put on such a hell of a show, back in the day. I mean, it was just a big production, People would never forget that. You'll never forget that. It'll stick with you. It'll be branded in your brain. So yes, indeed, man. Great. I love that right there, man. So what do you feel? Well, we kind of just talked about it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you feel separates Deep Within from other metal bands?
Okay.
Pretty much.
Start down the line.
Right, what we just said,
Deep Within separated from other bands.
Well, like we were just talking about, the showmanship, on stage is a big stage presence is a big thing these days. And I've been to a lot of concerts for a lot of newer bands that are coming out. And it seems like the showmanship is kind of dying out. Like people just want to stand on stage and do their thing. There's no almost passion anymore into what they're doing. Right. You got to love what you're doing. It's your job. You're going to be doing that for a long time. And if you don't love it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Because people are paying good money to come see you. And if all you're doing is standing up on stage, not everybody likes to see that. Actually, most people don't like to see that. That's what I was just talking to him about. Rammstein they've been going on for how many years, and they still put on one of the greatest shows you'll probably ever go and see.
Man, man.
That's because they care.
If you care about it, you're not having a good time. How the hell do you expect that kid right there to have a good time and be into it? Yeah. If you're not into it, they're not going to be into it.
That's actually another thing is, when I was growing up as a teenager, even now as an adult, I looked up to people when they were up on stage on the showmanship and saying, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to dream of doing. That looks like the dream. I want to live that because they love what they're doing. And that is the dream life right there. Yeah. And nowadays, when you go to see a band, like some of these new bands that are coming out, you're looking up there and you're like, man, I don't know. They don't look like they're having fun. They don't look like they're enjoying themselves and doing what you would think they would love to do for the rest of their life.
Right.
So for me, it's big showmanship and stage presence. Go ahead, Joe.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, what I think sets us apart is I don't write the same song twice. A lot of bands, cookie cutter bands is what I like to call them, Right. They like to write the same riff and they just dance around the same thing a million times. And it's like, that's cool and everything. I'll write a song like that, but that's one, and then we'll move on. And we'll keep going on. And I like to touch on different areas, like one of the songs is called Valhalla. And I wanted it to be about, Vikings and whatnot.
Okay.
And then we have another song called X-Files where it's about aliens, So I want to go different places. I want to do different things, like take you around the world type of deal, with the music, like I said, don't do the same thing twice. Just,
see, the cool thing about those two songs is that neither one of those sound anything like each other.
Absolutely. At all. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely a creative, man. You're a creative, Joe. That's what it is, man. That's awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No. I was just going to say that that aside from the things we talked about, from separating ourselves from a visual perspective and from a show perspective, but also I want to piggyback on what Joe said. One of my favorite things when I was considering coming into the band, when I came to the first rehearsal, the guys had like 10 songs that they had been working on for quite some time, and every single song was unique in and of itself, yet at the same time, you could tell it was packaged under the same band, if that makes sense.
Yes,
and to me, that's a very rare thing, because you have a lot of great bands and bands I love. But, let's face it, a lot of their songs, you could take the lyrical aspect and you could paste it over here on this music,
right,
and vice versa.
And
pop music is a lot of that same kind of formulated stuff.
Yes.
This stuff is, I think one of the things that we have going for us as well is, and when you hear more of our music, I think you'll agree, Lord Nelson, that it's uniquely us, but it's also every song is a standalone single. Gotcha. If that makes sense.
I got you.
It's every one of them is unique in and of themselves. You could not take the lyrics from that I've written, like say for Valhalla, and put it with Ground or Deep Within or some of the other songs that are getting ready to come out here this year.
Right.
And I think when people hear our music, it's eclectic in the sense that there's something in there for everyone. There's even some cool like metal. Almost like a heavy metal. I don't want to say hip hop in the sense that, but what I'm saying is it's got some rhyming to it. Gotcha. That's very unique. But it's uniquely us,
guys,
along with the false chord, the fry screaming. Then we also bring in the cleans, so it's got a little bit of everything for everyone. And each song it taps into a unique emotion. And I think when you hear our music moving forward, as things start to come out here in 2023, which we're really excited about, I think that you'll agree.
Gotcha.
What do you think,
Sean?
What sets us apart?
What sets us apart? If you don't like our music, you're going to like our show.
See, there you go.
To the point.
Even if you don't like the music, you can come and see the freaking show.
That's what sets us apart.
You'll definitely still like the show. That's for sure.
I got you, man. That's beautiful.
So it's like the new stuff, even the new stuff that's still being good, like for next time kind of thing. None of it's the same.
Yeah,
completely different. The stuff that's going to be coming out on our debut album, like Cody just said, that's packaged in and of itself. But then we're already starting to work on new material. And that's what you get when you work with a band that isn't putting restrictions on things, trying to sound like someone else or afraid to explore those different energies. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Hey, man. Awesome. You were saying, I always remembered like Outkast. Outkast is from Atlanta. Outkast has a sound, but Outkast continued to change things, but they still had the Outkast sound. You still knew it was them. They might have changed the songs, never sound, but you knew it was them though. So for whatever, they just had that sound, and I kind of think that's what you guys are going to do. Also, you'll know it's Deep Within every single time, no matter what. But it's different.
Yep. And you're never going to mistake it for never going to mistake it for anyone else.
Right.
I definitely remember when Outkast was more rap back in like the late early 2000s, and now they're like hip hop, but it works.
Yeah,
they made it work.
Indeed. They just had this sound. So, what's Deep Within's formula for making a headbanging metal song? What's the formula?
Ooh,
Joe's got the formula.
You might not want to tell me what it is, but I'm just saying, what's that formula? I know you got a formula.
Hey, Lord Nelson, we're going to have you sign an NDA. We're going to have to put an NDA up there for all the fans.
And listen. So what I'm telling you, when I'm listening to you guys, when I'm listening to the music and I'm looking at you guys, and then that question just popped in my head. I said, I wonder what's the formula for what they're doing. I said, I just feel they got something.
It's not a formula. It's just research. After all of us have been, we've all listening to music, all different kinds of music, all of our lives.
Right.
So all that is just compiled research, basically. Okay. And then when it comes out, like I don't sit there and try to write, like with a pen and paper. I just start writing riffs and whatever grooves, and then it just starts jumping off of that, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we got something. And then you'll just take the parts and switch them around, and
I think organic, yeah.
I think the formula. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think the formula is freedom.
Yeah.
It's freedom to express, because like when Joe sends me something, like we're working on a song right now, believe it or not, that's going to be a part of an upcoming film.
Right.
And it's a very exciting project, but Joe has composed something that's very, very cool for this movie. Mm-hmm. And when he sends that to me, Joe isn't really like, okay, now Matt, we need, I want this here. We need to be doing this, and this, and this. It's just kind of like, okay, here you go. Take the gloves off. It's the same thing when any of us are writing something, or even like, let's say Joe has written something.
Right.
He's not opposed to when we get together that, it's got to stay. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and that's how it's going to be.
Got you.
It's always an open, organic process for us.
Foundation.
And I think a lot of bands get caught up in whether it's the theory or the closed-mindedness on this is our sound and this is what we have to do.
Right.
Where we allow the creative energy. It really is the formula is a free creative process amongst the 5 of us.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And when you take 5 minds and guys that have the talent and allow that to mature, and each song takes on its own life, I think that's when you can really create magic, because you're not putting limitations on your formula, if that makes sense. It isn't a 1 + 1 must equal 2 kind of thing.
Right.
It's like, let's explore things that have been done, that haven't been done. Some of them may work. And, there's things that we've tried that it's like, okay, let's step back a little bit because that's not feeling right.
Right.
So I think it's a freedom in the process. That's really the formula.
Yeah. I got you, man. I just remember when I was with Lord Nelson featuring Lies, I did an album with a French band that we toured with Lies. And the thing is that when they sent me music, and we probably wrote 30 songs, and he just sent me stuff, but he was like, nothing's the same. Everything you do, and so the bad, this is kind of to you, when you're writing, okay, so when I write, I'm just feeling whatever that music is. I'm going to give to what that music is. I'm not trying to write something, it's however the music, however it moves me. That's the only thing I can do. That's the only thing I understand. I've got to ride that beat or ride that, ride the way that melody is or the way that drum is or that bass is or that guitar. It's just something I got to ride, and I'm not trying to just do this here. I never know what's going to happen. I just ride the music. So
That's it right. That's exactly how we write it. We don't know what's going to happen. Just keep going. Just keep feeling it. Just keep going and just feel it, because it's not about ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. It's about the metal, the rock, the feeling, what you feel, and the energy that you want to portray to people. You know what I mean? That's what it is right there.
We've even jammed to some like jazzy stuff and just like, cool. Let's turn this into
blues. Sean plays mean blues. I mean, you get this guy going on the blues. Forget about it. That it's just gonna be all nighter. It's gonna be a good jam, though. You know what I mean? But that's how it is.
Yeah, Matt, as you said before, music is universal, man. If really it's hot, it makes you feel good. It's just what it is, man. Because I can listen to anything, man. I may be eclectic to some people, but I listen to everything. And so, man, I just love it. If it sounds good to me, it just sounds good to me. So that's just.
And it's funny because music is obviously it's an audible experience, but it's also very visual in the sense that, like when you're getting a song and you're listening to it, and you're just feeling things. For me, I do the same thing, but I start seeing literally, it's like a movie playing in my mind. It's a very visual process. And I will just make a circle in the center of the page and write one single word, whether it's the title of the song or something about it how I'm feeling. And then I just will start free associating words or phrases and just by the time it's over, the paper is just filled with words and phrases, right? Then you start taking that and you start molding it into a story. And another thing about our music too is I think all of our songs have a very it's a story. It's a narrative.
Got you.
You know, it's a very visual experience. I think if people know the lyrics for the songs, not only will they hear it and see the show, but it will also allow them to have a visual experience in their mind, like almost like a film. If that makes sense.
Indeed, no, that's a unique process, man. That's cool what you said, because when you say visual, I am so visual. Listen, even before you guys got here, I already had in my mind about what it was going to be. I just saw the whole thing play out in my mind, whether it was going to be that or not. I see everything. Music is a time machine. It takes me back to places I've been, and I'm there. I mean, I'm dropped. Yeah. When I hear the music, I'm dropped back there where I was. And a lot of people think I'm crazy, but you guys probably understand it more. I feel it beyond what I can even explain. You know, I don't care. I'm a big guy. I don't care. I'll get in my vehicle. I'm driving by myself, listening to music, man. I might start crying about something or whatever because I'm there. I get so emotional about it. So anyway, man, I feel you on that. With you. Yeah, I feel you on that. So, are you guys well traveled? And if so, have your experiences of other places and spaces inspired you in any way when creating music and writing lyrics?
Just in our general lives, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in general. I mean, anybody else want to answer first real quick?
I was just going to say, I've been to a lot of states, a lot of places. I've traveled a lot in my short years.
Cody's former military, and so am I.
I'm a military kid, so that's... I'm a military kid. Yes, indeed. So I understand that. That's why, once again, those are the questions I'm asking. I didn't know those things about you guys, but I know just traveling certain places, I pull things from certain places and from other people's experiences and my own experiences. So I was just wondering how you guys do, if that's something that you guys do.
Yeah, for me personally, I mean, you know, I've had a lot of peaks and valleys, and, you know, a lot of people have. I've had a lot of unique experiences, military background, but also, you know, legal background, medical background. You know, I'm also an actor. And so, you know, I've had, and also lived in a lot of varying places, you know, like, let's face it, the culture in Iowa is a lot different than the culture in South Texas and Florida and California. So, you know, it really does create, I think, a unique set of circumstances to pull from when you have those kind of life experiences. And not only that, not just from a regional perspective, but personally.
Right.
You know, like, I'm 10 years sober, and I have to tell you, I was so afraid when I went through rehab at the VA. It took me twice to have it stick. But my biggest fear, honestly, in getting sober was that I wasn't going to be interesting anymore. That I wasn't going to be able to tap into the crazy side of myself when it came to writing or character, you know, stuff with acting, all that. And so, but I have to say that the experiences I had, you know, there were some very fun, crazy times, but there was some darkness as well. And now that I'm 10 years sober, I have to say that, you know, I don't have any regrets. I wouldn't wish some of these things on people, but it has allowed me to become even more capable of diving into places that I was probably closed off to because of the drinking and the pills and all that stuff, you know? So it's a message to people that I think a lot of creatives fall into drugs and alcohol because it's a strange comfort. For people that when you get into that kind of addictive personality, and it was for me too. And it took me a lot of hard years to come out of that. And it was because I was so afraid that if I was just myself without all that stuff as a creative, I wouldn't be interesting and I wouldn't be able to create genius, I guess you would say, whatever.
Right.
In quotes.
No, but that's very interesting that, you know, that internal struggle that we all have, you know, with whatever it may be, you know.
Yeah. So regionally and personally, I think that, a lot of those things, from your personal background to places you've lived, I think and the more diverse that is, I think it allows you to really have a very eclectic palette to use for your purposes, to what you want, the messages you want to send.
Awesome, man. Look, these guys right here, man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this conversation, man. I'm loving what I'm getting from you guys, man. It just feels good. And there's
gonna have to be a part 2 to this.
Yeah, and listen, man. No doubt, man. Just this conversation, like we're brothers, man. We all brothers, man. Listen, anybody that comes on here is more than a special guest. We're family, man, and that's the way I look at it. And just awesome. So, what's the best and worst part of being a musician?
Not enough money to buy equipment.
Yeah, equipment, hauling equipment. I mean, loading equipment. I mean, that's always the biggest one. As a musician yourself, man. These amplifiers, man, they get crazy expensive. Right. Guitars, crazy expensive.
You never have enough help to lug shit.
You never have enough help to lug shit. I mean,
always something fucking up.
It's always like the meme says, what does it say? You're going to put $10,000 of equipment into a car to go play a gig for fucking 10 people and get paid. That's, but we love to play. That's the thing. Like we do that. We did that not too long ago. We played a little dive kind of place. And when we showed up there, everyone was like, what are you guys doing here? Like, we're like, hey, we came to rock, even though, we look like this and we got equipment and stuff. We still came to rock and play with everybody else. But that's the main thing is equipment for me.
How about the best part?
The best part is the music. I mean, watching everybody mosh. That's the best part for me. Is when I'm sitting there getting on a riff and I look up and I see the pit going or somebody's getting into it and they got a big old smile on their face. That's number one for me right there. That's it.
Jason?
The worst part is never having a steady girlfriend. But because you lose them all the time.
Hold on, that might be the best. That might be the best and the worst.
But I have a steady girlfriend now. I'm just saying that was one thing. I've lost a lot of women over the last 20 years being in band. You know what I mean? It's true.
Yeah. But why? Why do you lose the women? It isn't because Jason's uninteresting, and it isn't because
they can't keep up.
It's a difficult lifestyle.
Everybody's not built. Everybody's not built for it, man.
I've had a girlfriend I've had for like 3 years now. Matt's married. It's like trying to get them trained to go with the flow to get on your program. That's a difficult thing. But now I got a great one. She's on the program, bro. She helps out the band a lot. Yeah. But I'm just saying, over the years when you're young coming up, the girl's like, "Oh, you're in a band. That's cool. I'm gonna go to a show." 13 shows in, she's like, again? Well, how can we never do what I want to do? Every time we got to go to a show.
Or they get jealous. Home at night. There's the jealousies and everything else, too.
Yeah.
I always got, man, you like that guitar more than me. I'm like, what? That's an inanimate object. What the hell are you talking about
right now? Cody's going to answer next. Best and worst about being a musician.
That guy sleeps with the sticks.
So for me, the worst is... all the bands I've been into or been in throughout the years, I could never find one that I actually liked the music. I would pretty much force myself to enjoy the music just because they asked me to play and I was looking for something to do or trying to pass the time or whatever. And I'm playing along, but I really wanted to live the dream. Being a drummer up on stage, thousands of fans, loving our music, the band I'm in, it's all, the typical dream. And every band I've always been into, they say they are, and they end up not doing it. Right. They don't push, they don't do anything. And then I finally found them. So here's the greatest part of it. Found them. We've got shows pretty much every weekend or every other weekend. We hang out, we practice, we're all good friends. We've been
going like this.
Yeah, it's so far this has been the best part of it. Just meeting people who are actually built to do it. That want to do it, that want to go somewhere. And then also at the same time, friendship in a band. Every band I've ever been into, they say, "Oh, let's be friends. Let's go do things. Let's hang out," and then it never happens.
We're friends.
And that's what I said. They're friends. We're all friends. There's a lot of good things that come when you're in a band that actually wants the same things and get along in the same ways.
Yeah. John, how do you feel? John?
I feel great. I'll kick some ass. I'll go play. I'm ready to go. I work my ass off.
Sean's always, he's just on. He's just ready to go all the time.
Now, a question to ask you.
His guitar down.
What do you think deep within means? Just your guess.
I'm going to say.
Don't say it. They always do.
I was thinking mentally that you guys are getting into the mental of your people who are listening to your music.
That's a good guess. It means deep within the music.
In the music. Oh, which is love also. Hey, that's beautiful.
Deep within the music.
Deep within the music.
Deep within that's awesome. That's awesome because as I say, I'm so visual. So now immediately I started looking at it in a different way. You know, that's crazy. No, I love that. I love that. You know, a lot of times, you know, people ask, well, what does the band name mean? What is this, whatever like that? I'm like, if you guys are going to talk about it, because I know it's a question you get asked all the time. So I'm just like, I'm not asking that question. We just going to talk about who you are.
It can be interpreted by anybody, right? You can interpret it however you want.
Right, you can interpret it however you want. But I mean, for me personally, when I first came into the band, I mean, you know, I was thinking about it more from I was thinking about it in a more sophisticated way, let's say. You know, I was thinking about the psychological part of it, the emotional part, and how music affects you deep within. You know, it can hit you to the core, and that's how I've always perceived it, and that's affected my, you know, how I perform in the band, how I write for the band,
right.
And so yeah, to me, deep within is. It's something more than just the music. It's a soul thing.
Yeah,
you know, and like I mean, music is it's in your heart, man. It can take you back to your childhood. It can take you into the future.
It's kind of like a smell, right?
It's like a smell.
Those phantom smells that come up. Yes, sir. Hey, man.
Kind of touching on the subject that the question that we already got asked is this actually still kind of is relevant. It did. The way that you guys played, you know, I'm a fan looking into a band that I am now a part of, you know, and it did. It touched me, you know. It was.
Well, where's my money?
It touched me. That was why I loved you guys as a band. Was you guys you were deep within, you know. When you guys played the machine, it was like right in your soul.
It's a way of life. Like that's why when we play our last song is called Deep Within. Always our last song that we always go out with. And we always go, we are deep within. And we always like to say, now you are deep within. Now that you've come and experienced the show and you listen to the music and you're in that mindset, now you are deep within.
Part of the family.
Yeah, and like I like to tell people, or like I like to say, is that it's not that you're in the moment, you become the moment. You become
And
I love that, man. That's beautiful. That's what you guys are doing, man. I love that, man. Yes.
They throw the energy, we'll throw it right back. That's it. I do it.
Well, you guys are doing your thing, and the next thing is, what festival or festivals need to hear, feel, and truly experience the music of Deep Within?
Oh.
The biggest ones on the planet need us.
We just went for that whacking. We just tried out.
We made
that,
it to round 2 or 3.
Yeah, went through that. You know, you need Oddfest needs to come back. We need to do some of that. Right. Mayhem Fest. That's what I'm talking about. Mayhem.
Dude,
Fest.
I want Warped Tour to come back.
Yeah.
Yes, the band's
Warped Tour. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Woodstock.
Woodstock.
Hey, a metal Woodstock.
Metal Woodstock. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that question because once again, I already kind of got the vibe of how you guys feel about you and what you guys know about yourselves and how you feel about yourselves. And I love the confidence, and it's not arrogance, that's confidence. And I love that, man. And that's what you're supposed to have, especially as artists. You know, you're confident. Yeah. When we get on stage, we do what we do. We get off stage, we're humble about what we do. That's the way it's supposed to be, you know?
Yes.
That's right. We ain't taglines.
You're not afraid. You can't be afraid to be vulnerable.
Right.
You know, even as you grow more successful, I think part of the problem is, one, the guys get the fucking egos and everything else, but a lot of that is, I think that they are trying to protect themselves, which is understandable. But I think as long as you're willing to allow yourself to be a little bit vulnerable, right. within reason as far as, who you are as a person and not try to close yourself off, I think that will also come across in your music and your show. Like you said, we're very confident in what we do. Like, look, I know it doesn't matter what club we're going to, whether it's like a Vakken style competition, whether it's top tier stuff, or we're playing in, a little podunk bar in Apple Valley. It doesn't matter. When we walk in the room, I know people are going to pay attention.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
And so you get up on stage and you have to have the confidence, because the moment you let it down, another band is going to come right in there and freaking take your place.
100%.
You know how it is. It's a very competitive world.
No doubt.
And, but like you said, we're all brothers in the business, and sisters, but you have to have a next level confidence. But I think where guys get in trouble sometimes, you're coming up a little bit, then you bring in the arrogance, and people don't want to be around that stuff.
Right. Not at all.
It's a total turnoff.
Yeah.
And, we've known some bands that, we're coming up with a little bit. They get a little bit of success, and then it's like they don't even want to recognize you when you show up with them to the next show.
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like I've vowed to myself and my wife Ava and the band and everything else that it doesn't matter what level of success we get to. I will always be the guy going to the merch table, shake people's hands, talking with people. We're not above any of that stuff.
Exactly. We're still humans, just like everybody else.
100%.
We're the same level. We're not robots.
Totally
machines.
approachable. Totally approachable.
Indeed.
So relevant. The last band I was in, that's exactly what happened. I got a little bit of taste of fame, I guess you could say, playing with some big names, and their heads and ego they skyrocketed. Yeah. And it got to them, and I couldn't handle it anymore, and I left. Right. And thankfully, these guys picked me up, and it's been amazing ever since.
Oh, it's all right, Cody. We got them fresh off the street.
So
this dude right here is the guy. You're a wild boy. I love it.
Wait till you see him live.
Hey,
Black up your women, I'm telling you now.
Sean has literally cracked my head open on stage.
Oh yeah, smashed them.
Smashed with his guitar right in my head. And do you think we stopped the show? No. People thought it was fake. Like,
he had to get one stitch in his head.
But with Sean and I's intensity, it's we've had to kind of learn to. We've got our little circles.
Stay the hell away from
Yeah, it's intense.
That's the cool thing about this band is everybody's got a little bit of their own thing. Not everybody's the same, or they're not way too different, and that's why we all get along so well, especially on stage.
Yeah,
is we all have our own differences, we all have our similarities, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, awesome. But it's intense.
Hey man, I can see that, no doubt, man. So let's talk about your music, right? So you presently have the single out, Ground. Tell us about its meaning to you and the momentum it gave the band as your first official single, because it did give you guys some momentum.
That's funny he asked that. Ground, that whole video wasn't even planned. It was just somebody came over and just started doing it with us. We were doing stuff for a Netflix thing he was trying to do. He did it, and we liked it because it was just us natural in the band room.
Awesome, man.
And Joe wrote the music. So Joe, if you want to talk a little bit.
Oh, like I said, it was just organic. I just wrote it on, just wrote it on the feeling of just, I wanted it to be hard, but easy at the same time. You know what I mean? I wanted that verse to be nice and jumbled up, but the chorus, I wanted that chorus to sing, and just pop up,
Got you.
Yeah, that song's been through some stuff. We've had 2 other singers in that for that song.
See, that was why.
But nothing ever really came really of it. And then Matt got into it, and he brought it to life.
Yeah,
that was the guy.
Song, if you listen to the lyrics, or you have the lyrics in front of you when you're listening to the song, I think it will become clear that the song is about solemn existence on the ground we all inhabit as a species.
Okay.
So it's about everything from, like prehistory to the Native Americans, to the populace of the United States. A lot of it focuses on, let's face it, the ground has seen victories, a lot of sadness. It has absorbed all of that energy.
Right.
And so for me, when I was writing it, it was to pay homage to the solemn nature of the ground and how it contains all of our memory and all cultures.
Mm-hmm.
The ground is indiscriminate.
Right.
And it doesn't judge us this way or that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about how the ground has absorbed all those things, the positives and the negatives, and it's still here. Right. And that, we should honor that. And if just, I invite people to, if they don't have the lyrics in some way, they can, I know they can get on the website, I believe, deepwithinband.com.
Right.
And the lyrics are there. But also I think they're on, I think you can get them from Spotify. But if anyone wants to know a little bit more about the song or the background of it and want the lyrics, they can certainly reach out to the band. We'll be happy to provide them, because I think it's important to, like you said, we see the music, we feel the music. But I think when say, I'm sure you've heard songs, it's like you kind of know what's going on, but then you read the lyrics and then you're like, right. Oh, yeah, okay. Right. Now I'm really seeing it,
Yeah.
Takes on a whole different meaning. Like there's songs I think, like, I don't know, maybe Ozzy Osbourne or whatever. There's been songs I've sang them wrong for years, right. Thinking that. Then you get the lyrics. It's like, wait a second, he's been saying that the whole time. Then the next time you listen to it, there was a couple Michael Jackson songs too. Then you listen to it the next time, and then you're like, oh, now I got the story.
That's really not his kid.
Yeah, that's really not his kid. I swear. But anyway, so yeah, when I was writing the song, that's kind of what I was thinking about. But what you were talking about, though, too, what you asked is the trend line that it has opened, okay? And so I think ground is interesting because as the ground evolves, so is this song. And not that the song is changing, but the song is still reaping benefits. Right. We brought that song out with the idea that the album was going to come out shortly thereafter. Mm-hmm. But, with some lineup changes and some other things, and kind of the eclectic nature of it all, right. The album has been a work in progress, getting ready to come out this year. But ground is still, it's still creating new fans. Mm-hmm. And I think the ground has only seen the beginning of its success as the band's trajectory continues to go upward. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah.
And people can hear that first single on Spotify, all the streaming platforms, as well as go on our website.
Right.
And it's just the beginning of what's coming with our debut album.
That's just number one, baby.
That's just the first one.
If you don't mind to tap in on this a little bit.
Cody.
Again, I have to.
Drummer's always got it.
Yeah. Drummer's always got it. All
right, Ringo. No.
So another thing, again, going back to being a fan and coming into the band is I got to listen to the songs before actually playing them. And I have to say, out of ground, yes, I love all the songs. Valhalla is my number one. The whole band knows that. But out of all the songs, Ground is probably the most push forward song. We were practicing not too long ago, and I instinctively went and started singing his vocals because he couldn't make it that time, just because it was just in my head. Mm. It's a song that will get in your head.
Right.
Yeah. And it pushes.
That's a great thing right there. Indeed. See,
that's another part of being in the band. You got to be able to love your music. And I absolutely love the music.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Well,
I call you Fan Man. My name for you now.
Yeah, I'm going to listen. When I get the opportunity, I know I'm going to love to hang out with you guys, man.
Heck yeah.
Listen, I'm a calm dude, but I love to laugh. And I guess there's one individual who's going to make me laugh a lot. And that's going to be great for me.
Yeah, right, man. You're going to laugh sleeping.
No, we're kind of talking about it now. When can we expect your highly anticipated EP or album? When can we expect it?
So right now we're finishing up work on the album. Like I said, we've had another interesting project that just came our way. We were asked to record a song, write a song, record a song for an upcoming film. I can't really talk about it right now, but let's just say that the executive producer and one of the gentlemen that's actually in the film is a very, very well-known family in the horror film genre. Right. And I was a part of the movie. You know, and music and the whole entertainment business really is about meeting people and friendships and relationships. And so through this, he found out that I was in this band, and he said, "Well, hey, I'm thinking that this particular type of movie, and maybe some metal. What are you thinking?" And so we started talking, and then I got with the guys, and of course they were stoked.
Of course.
So we've written this song. We're finishing that up, and it'll be a part of the film right now as a proof of concept. So it's a short film, but it's on its way to becoming a feature. Awesome. So the film, the music will be a part of whether it's the ending credits or whatever they decide to do. So we're working on that now, getting ready to shoot, record that, get a video done.
Gotcha. And
then we'll be performing the single live, believe it or not, at an event that's going to be coming up here in LA, very, very cool event that's horror related that, once again, I can't really talk about the details, but that project is kind of the last button that we need to put on the album. Gotcha. So we're finishing up a couple of our other songs. And so we're hoping through Patrick, and Distilled Entertainment that we'll have a nice, a very positive, holistic way to release the album with impact, if that makes sense, versus just, kind of the whisper in the wind. You get a couple people that listen to it. Look, I think I'm being completely biased, but I think our songs are worth waiting a little bit to release them in a way that's more impactful for people. Gotcha. And I think that because we have waited, look, we end up getting signed with Patrick Distilled Entertainment. We're talking to you. I think that the music will be given its due. I think it's worthwhile. And I think things happen for a reason. So the music, the debut album, we are hoping that it will be out before the end of the year for sure. Okay. But we're hoping summer.
Gotcha.
Okay. Gotcha. Whether that's late summer, sometime in the summer, maybe early fall. But one thing's for sure, it's gonna 2023. It'll be out, and I think it'll have a great impact on people. And like you said, it's been highly anticipated by a lot of folks. There's been some delays. We appreciate the patience in the creative process, but like I said, in the end, it'll be worth it. Trust me, it'll be worth it.
We're looking forward to it, most definitely. So right now, within the next couple of weeks, the near future, very, very near future, what do you guys have coming up? Any shows or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, like he was just talking, we're gonna get back into the studio first and foremost to go button up these tracks.
Well, we got a show Saturday.
And then, go ahead. Yeah, hit him up with the show.
We got a show out in Palmdale, which is the desert in California.
We're playing at Transplant Brewing Company on Saturday.
Festival.
It's a festival that we've been signed on for quite some time. So it's going to be an interesting show. It's in Palmdale at a place called Transplant Brewing Company. Then we are headlining Metal Mayhem at the Universal Bar and Grill in Los Angeles, California. Very happening place. Yeah. And the promoter for the Rainbow Bar and Grill that we played the Rainbow recently, and that is a trip. Rainbow on Sunset.
Yeah.
Of all the 80s hair band fame. And right next to the whiskey. And so the producer or the promoter of that, we've been talking. And so we get to headline this show on May 27th in Los Angeles at the Universal Bar and Grill. We've got that coming up. Then in July, late July, May 20th. Sorry, we have a another festival. Fired Up Fest, May 20. and that is in Pinion Hills at a place called the Big Rock Inn. And that's being put on by one of our friends. Rick's is his name, from Firing All Cylinders. He has invited us to be a part of that. Awesome. And then Green Jello is headlining that. If people are familiar with Green Jello, we want you to come on out for that. That's May 20th. Okay. Like I said, we're headlining Metal Mayhem, Universal Bar Grill, May 27th. And then late July is a very special appearance for us at the Long Beach Convention Center, where we will be performing this new single that will be a part of this film. We will be performing it live for this event. Those are things. Please visit the website, join our mailing list, deepwithinband.com, so you can stay up to date on all these things. Because like I said, this event that's going to be happening, it's a big deal. I'm not at liberty to talk about it right now, but mark the calendars for the end of July if you're in the LA area at the Long Beach Convention Center, because it's going to be a lit moment for the band. And so, I invite people to, follow our social media. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram, Facebook. But most importantly, we have a very slick, updated website, deepwithinband.com, where you can follow all the action and sign up for our mailing list. We've got great merch coming out. We've got all this stuff going on. So the band is definitely, like my dad said, son, when you're on an upward trajectory line, you just keep following it.
Just keep following.
That's right. And we are on that upward trajectory line.
Well, let me just tell you how beautiful it is. I always tell everybody it's always awesome when the guests go straight into. I don't have to ask the question; they just go into it. And you handled everything about the social media, about your website, and everything.
Hey, don't get started. I'm sorry. Hey, Lord Nelson, I'm sure I'm kind of a sanguine. Okay, I've got sanguine, the melancholy, the caloric, all that stuff. But that's my mom. So if I'm talking too much, you just say, "Hey, Matt,
no,
hold up a second.
No.
I'm the host here."
And first of all, no. First of all, it's about you guys, and I want you to talk. It's about you. So the focus should always be on you. That's the way it is with me. And no, I'm just saying to you, you're definitely not talking too much. You just went right into it. I didn't even have to ask the question, which is beautiful. I don't have to ask that question over again. So it's all love, man. So I appreciate it. So now I will get to the last question. What was the last song each of you listened to?
Ooh. The last song?
I know what Jason and I's was, but I'll let the other guys answer first.
Ooh. Oh, I was just riding over here in the car. God dang it, what was it? Dang it. It was I think it was Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
I think it was Pink Floyd on the I think it was Pink Floyd.
Okay.
You know what song?
I think it was Money. I think it was Money, Pink Floyd.
It's a good song.
That's a great song. Great song.
What was Sean listening to?
I was listening to Christina Aguilera.
See? The secret's out.
That girl could sing.
Hey,
He's listening to Christina Aguilera.
That's what was on the radio.
She can sing.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying, like you said,
words could bring you down.
I'm eclectic in my music.
I'm beautiful.
I'm eclectic in my music listening as well. What was Cody listening to?
I'm gonna say the first two, and then I'll give you a different one because the last two were Deep Within songs.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
Look at
listening
this
to
guy.
something.
Oh, that's love.
He's jamming out to his own songs.
Sands of Time. And then before that, me and a buddy, he was listening to Ground. He seems to really like Ground, so he put on Ground. And then before that, I was listening to a bunch of classic rock. I was listening to Mr. Crowley by Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, yeah, man. Goodness, man. Listen. So I'm older, so, when you say a lot of those things, I get it. I understand it, man. It just makes me feel good. Well, gentlemen, this was amazing. You already gave out your website and everything, and not unless you want to give it out again, but you gave it out. And it is like, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed it. And a lot of times I get selfish because I like what I'm doing and I enjoy my guests and I just want you guys to be comfortable, and I feel like you have been comfortable in just doing what you do. You guys are on that trajectory to great things, man, and just looking forward to seeing it, man, and hearing it and all those beautiful things. So thank you guys, man. I'm
thank you, man. Thank you, Lord Nelson. And thank you to everyone watching your show. We will definitely be pushing it, and we wish you all the success as well. You know what we're looking forward to most?
What's that?
Part two.
Part two.
Hey, listen. Let me go ahead
when the
and
album comes out, baby.
No,
maybe when the album comes out.
There is no maybe. Whenever you guys are ready, just hit me up, hit Ryan, however you do it. I got you.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You know,
Okay.
here is the door is wide open for you guys. Just come on in, put your feet up, grab you some snacks, and we do what we do. That's what's up.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's me, and that's
it
an honest
feels
truth.
like family, and we really appreciate you a lot. You've made us feel right at home, and
thank you.
And we appreciate the opportunity to get word out to people. And the internet and social, everything is so clouded. You know, I mean, it's just 30-second attention span.
Yes.
And we really appreciate you taking the time to just to let us be with you for an extended period.
See, that's something that doesn't happen very often anymore.
Well, I'm thankful and grateful, man. You guys can have as much time as you wanted, man. It's a beautiful thing, man, most definitely. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know who it is. It's the big guy, big show. It's the Lord Nelson, that is. Yes, indeed. For the podcast, Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS Network with 5 Royals Entertainment. And we have the very, very special, just they're on that track for greatness, man. I'm telling you, it's coming up, man. And we're waiting for it. And we know we're going to get it. And we're going to enjoy it when we get it. Deep Within, yeah.
And we are Deep Within. Yes.
I love it, man. Thank you guys, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord Nelson, that is.